It's a Saturday morning here at Axon Main Forge Memory in St. Elmo, Illinois. And if you have not subscribed yet, great time. Like and subscribe, hit that notification button. And I have been doing a little bit off camera. Uh, my last video, I was attempting to drill my pins for my handle, and what happened was I ended up having to go with a different grit to make everything fit up. So I've got my Turtle Island Bowie rough fit right here. Everything is coming together quite nicely. I'm just gonna let you guys know how happy I am about that. I went ahead and drilled the end because we're going to be doing poured pewter as well. So I have to get a couple things ready. And one thing I got to get ready, one very important thing, I've got to get some adhesive ready. Now, you may be going, why are you using adhesive if you are pinning and pouring pewter? Well, quite simple. I'm using that as a gasket between my guard and my handle material. So get over here to my adhesive bin, and here's a couple almost used up JB Weld tubes. So I think I'm going to go ahead get one of my mixing lids from my pastry containers. Oh boy. You know what I got here? I've got a bunch of projects coming up. And if you're interested in those projects, you can message us. There is a link in the description for Axon Main Forge Memory on Facebook. Be sure to check it out. Let me move these for now. I'm hopefully going to have half a dozen knives or more done today, but we're going to see how this goes. All right, so I've already got my pins cut, and they are ground conical. I've got 2 pins there. I should probably get a small hammer. There's a small hammer. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and mix my JB weld here. And there's a possibility that I might have to open up another set of tubes for this. Looks like that pretty well exhausted that. Hopefully I have an equivalent amount here. Now I use JB Weld for a couple reasons. One, it holds up well. And 2, it's got a little bit longer working time, and it stays pliable, kind of like putty, for just a bit. Once more, if you haven't subscribed, now's a good time to do that. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and mix that up. And get it all right, so I'm going to apply JB Weld right around this slot in the guard that this hang passes through. And I think that will work quite well. Next, I'm going to take my handle material And I'm going to apply a layer that will act as a gasket around the mouth of the opening here, the tang channel, if you will. Now, I mixed up a lot, so I'm applying a lot. I will be able to remove that before it fully cures. At least I hope I will. If not, it's going to be a lot of hand cleaning. And sometimes that happens. All right, so here we go. Take this, slide it down on. Now it squishes out all around, and that's a good sign because that means that I got enough. I got more than what I needed. I'm gonna look through. It looks like everything's lined up. Now there is a little bit of corrosion on these pins. So I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. Because a little bit of corrosion will cause some problems. All right. So first things first, I'm going to take my little hammer. And drive it on through. All right. That's looking pretty good. Everything's looking good so far. Now I'm going to take my second pin, and this is going to pass through the tang as well. Look at that. All right, everything's pinned in place. It's not going anywhere. So next step of the process is actually going to require a gloved hand. We start the forge. And I have a pewter ingot and a ladle here. And I'm hoping I've got enough material. I may need a little more material to make this work. And I'm also going to grab another toothpick. I'm going to start removing some of the excess here of that adhesive. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, great time to do so. Be sure to like and subscribe, hit that notification button, and check out the links in the description. There's a link to the Turtle Island Preserve. Turtle Island Bowie, Turtle Island Preserve. Almost like I'm making this for a reason. September 6th and 7th. We are running with Robbie Bowman down to Boone, North Carolina to the Turtle Island Preserve. Eustace Conway's from the Mountain Men TV show on History Channel. And we will be making knives. You're guaranteed to make several knives while you're there. Myself and Cheyenne and Robbie will be assisting and instructing. And while that is coming up to temp, I'm in here making sure everything's cleaned off within reason. There's my excess epoxy, my JB weld. So this is molten now. And I believe what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to skim this off. Lay that down. Grab another ingot because I may need it. 6 glasses of gloves. Or a glove at least. Now the idea is to pour medallion here. I think everything's sealed up as it should be. Let's see. May have been a little bit of moisture in there, kind of seems that way. And now I'm going to let it cool. There you have it. Everything is locked together. Handle is warm as expected to be. Let me find. Here's a file. I got a couple little pieces of pewter that had kind of came up here. I guess the first thing I probably ought to do is take care of these pins, because right here is a cool D-guard Bowie knife. Looking good. Cleaned up the medallion just a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to a surface conditioner. Back to, yeah, probably go back to that blue, really. And we're going to, like I said, we're doing final finishing. Unless I have somebody walk in that door to do a forging experiment or something. This is just about done, guys. Sly, I do sell these. You can message us through the links in the description. There's one up for Facebook for Axon Main Forge Memory. But yes, we do sell these. The e-commerce page is upcoming. Medallion cleaned up. Now I've got just a little bit to clean up around the guard here, and I'm gonna put this back in the vise, and very shortly we could be finishing this up, pretty much everything except the sharpening. Right there's my JB weld as it sets. It is set up pretty decent. Enough I can handle it for sure. All right. So I have some 220 right here that I'm just coming along, and wow, like I can't. This antler is right next to my face, and being that I poured hot pewter in it, it definitely smells like I poured hot pewter in antler next to my face. Now that is just cleaning up pretty nice. And I'll tell you what, if I've got gapping between a guard and a handle, like just due to natural material or a hammer mark or something, I will do this a lot of times. But if I don't, I still do this a lot of times because it's quite an effective way to keep things nice and even and flowing. Come up in here, clean that off so I don't have too much loose material or leftover brass from the grinding. Well, now it comes, it's time for the magical part. How's everybody doing? Yes, MDR. This is one I was working on yesterday. I've actually been working on it for a couple days now, and it's in honor of the Turtle Island Preserve. Eustace Conway's from Mountain Men on the History Channel, where we'll be assisting with some classes coming up very shortly. September 6th and 7th, and that will be at the Turtle Island Preserve in Boone, North Carolina. Link in the description. Be sure to go check it out. So here we go. So I'm going to bring you guys around here. And this is a pretty simple process. I want to make that look really nice. And, you know, I polished up the antler some, so it did improve, but it's not where I want it. So what I'm going to do next, give me a couple paper towels. And in one of my previous videos, maybe a couple of them, I talk about how to make chalk elk antler look awesome. And this is chalk elk antler. And I'm just going to come in, and you can see it's dry, it's porous, it is absorbing that stain like it's a sponge. So a lot of times I'll leave this lighter, but sometimes I do stain it, that crown, that rosette. And what I'll do is a lot of times later I go in and I sand it a little bit. That way I have some highlights and I have some contrast. So now I'm just going to come in and start applying to this white and lifeless handle. Why? Because it's going to look really cool when I'm done. And I can't do that in a vise too easily because I need to be able to turn this handle. Now this stain stains wood, bone, antler, leather, skin. So I want to try to control this for what I can. And like, there's times I'll use a sponge brush for this, but I didn't buy sponge brushes this time. Now this will make a lot of the mineralization pop. So, you know, if that elk was taking in different minerals in nature, it ends up in the antler. I think it's a to protect the blade when it's. Yeah, that is a piece of leather in the vice jaws, and that does protect the blade. You clean your blade up, you don't want to scratch it up or damage it. And it offers as a little bit of cushion too. Okay, so there we go. I've got all of that coated. That's why I can't dip that part. It won't fit. Otherwise, yes, you can. Is the bone marrow hard? No. This doesn't have any marrow left in it, but the pith, or the central part of the antler, is actually quite easy to work. So it's open area. It's strong and light, but no, that portion is not overly hard. See how cool that's turning out? And that's the reason I use dark walnut stain on a lot of my handles, is because it brings out these cool colors and just makes it look awesome. All kinds of awesome. That's how I would describe that process. All right, and if you guys sign up for that Turtle Island class, I'll tell you what, you'll get to see me with this cool Bowie knife there. And I might even let you check it out. Now, I've still got a little bit to do to this, but for the most part, this blade is pretty well done. It's not sharpened yet, but and I haven't put my mark on it yet. But I've got it. Check that out, people. That handle is just that handle is so much better than what I thought it would be. And now I've got the pewter and the pommel and everything. My balance is 3/4 of an inch forward. Looking cool. Okay, so Colby Hay, I want to talk to you about that real quick. A lot of people do try to do the gatekeeper thing, or kind of the matter where, hey, I know something I don't want other people to know. We like to teach people. And if you go and look in the description, there's a link to Forge a Memory Family. And we have videos there where we go step by step, in-depth builds, not just myself, but also Robbie Bowman, Chad Osborne. I know there's some other smiths and other craftspersons in there. And I highly recommend check that out, because if you've got questions, feel free to get a hold of me at any point, and I will be glad to answer that. Also, there are a couple events coming up. September 6th and 7th, the knife making class at the Turtle Island Preserve in Boone, North Carolina. Link in the description. Turtle Island, I think it's turtleisland.org or turtleislandpreserve.org. But anyway, it is in the description. There's also an event Labor Day weekend out here on Main Street where we'll be doing some forging and a lot of fun stuff. And then October 17th, 18th, 19th in Sevierville, Tennessee, Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Robbie Bowman is he's putting on a forging festival. We used to call it a grudge match, Forged and Fire grudge match, but now we're encouraging more and more people to forge and get out there and do things. And this is what I can say, is that we like to teach people, and we like to see people make cool things. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's a great time to do so. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. And more cool stuff to come, guys. Once more, hope to see a few of you at the Turtle Island Preserve September 6th and 7th. You do have to book ahead of time. You guys have a great one. Here's my turtle Island Bowie. Oh, if you don't mind, what state do you? Wolf Dog Gaming. I am in Central Illinois. Actually, we do travel around some, but the shop's here in Central Illinois, St. Elmo, Illinois. You guys have a great one. We'll catch you in a few. Later.